Oh, does your phone keep track of where you go?
Yeah. Oh, look at
Yeah,
Drunken Indian.
that. We're drawing a spider web around it. Being super, super lazy. Well, I guess I could turn my bed light off. If I can remember how. Oh, there it is. I've always said that one of the biggest rackets in Kansas City is parking.
Yeah.
And when you start paying for parking in an area, it's well, the death of that area will soon be at hand. And when that starts happening in the crossroads, then it will be that by that time it'll be gentrified into something totally different than what it originally started out as.
Well, and then that'll kill it, and the city won't understand how that happened, and then...
Oh, but we need to talk to artists about organic growth and how to do it. Like, yeah, well, stop listening to your developers.
But that's part of the problem with Power and White District there is
it's not
you
organic.
go to a show there, oh, $10 parking.
Yeah.
That's more than I wanted to pay for the whole show.
Well, but they're trying to attract an upscale crowd, and they're trying to attract these big business people, big business clients that are floating in from out of town.
It's exclusive.
Yeah, they don't want
prices are designed to exclude people.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
And
Let's go down to Baltimore here.
Are these boxes still? Or is that board here?
I don't know.
It's a
Well, maybe. Well, it is a veneer, but it may be a veneer of stone or concrete.
the thing
Depends on how old the building is. Interesting building.
you know, how many little towns were hurting, always complaining not enough business here, we can't expand.
Or downtown.
And Sam Walmart come in and said there's a lot of money in these little towns and we got to serve it. And I hate Walmarts, but that's he took the money up. That's what blew my mind when this little town I lived in up there was 50 people in the surrounding areas, and everybody always complained about how poor they were and everything else, couldn't afford anything. Then snowmobiles come in. Within 6 months there was probably 80 snowmobiles in that town. Had those days about $500 a piece. And where did all that money come from? Everybody's supposed to be broke. It's there. You just got to figure out a way to jar it loose. And that's what they're not doing here. They're not caring about the little guy. They're worried about the guy with the big bucks. It's like when I used to sell securities. Commission is so small, you got to sell a lot. Well, there ain't enough millionaires to go around.
Well, the thing about that is too, like my business that I like to get into is video production, and there's a prevailing attitude that nobody wants to touch a job under $6,000 because they want to work once in the month and then kick their feet up, and there's so much work involved in it. And I always wanted to try and figure out how to make it into this little jazz thing right here.
Phoenix. This is where the Phoenix is.
And I want to try and figure out how to do it in such a way that, you know, you could get small clients. But I don't want to, because then you'd end up doing nothing but weddings, and I hate that. So what I always envisioned is trying to do something for not-for-profits and make it to where I'm still making some money and making a living doing it, which is the necessary evil to keep it going. But they get a way of documenting and producing their events and getting it online.
What about...
Well, here's the Savoy.
Yeah.
I like that wall of glass.
Well, this is a very interesting place.
Also not doing very well.
Oh, the Savoy isn't? Well, it's a very interesting place because the...
He wants to come down here.
No, he can't turn because he's got... Because the Savoy grill was a part of the Savoy Hotel. Well, the Savoy Hotel went seedy, but the grill stayed as one of the nicest places to eat in town. So here you could come and eat in one of the nicest restaurants in town, but the hotel would be like full of homeless people, bums and stuff like that, you know, Skid Row. Another hotel that did that up here, when I moved to Kansas City, when I was a kid, my family moved up here in '78, was the Coates House. And it was built by a man by the name of Kersey Coates, who developed this whole end right here, which was called Quality Hill. And he built the Coates House across the street from his opera house, which was right here, and he had a tunnel so that the stars of the time, the late 1800s, could go underground and not be bothered by people wanting their autographs or, you know, paparazzi of the day or whatever. But if you look at the Coates House, it looks like it's truncated. Like, here's the front entrance on this side, and then the whole wing on that side is gone. It's now a parking lot. When we moved here in January 1978, which is about, this is about the anniversary of it, they had a huge fire, burnt this whole wing down. And I mean burned it down to the point that it looked like a World War II image. And there was like, how many people? I keep wanting to say 37 people killed, but I think it might be like 14 or something. But it was a kind of a flop house where people who didn't have a lot of money could have an, you know, what we now call an extended stay hotel or motel, where you buy the room by the week or something. Yeah. And some of the people that were killed were kids, which was very sad. And I remember that they had a picture where one of the victims was hanging out the window like they were trying to get out and they couldn't make it because they would fall to their death, and so they burned to death in the window. And that was an actual picture in the newspaper.
It does seem like just a lot of office space now.
Oh, we need more office space.
Jeff and I, in our last incarnation here in my car, were bitching about this wing here of the Bartle Hall.
Crumpled beer can.
Crumpled beer can, yeah. They call it Deacon Structuralism. Something to make it look like it's been destroyed or unfinished. Or exploded.
The Bartle Hall, it's unfinished.
But I went in.
Gonna be doing so well.
I went in for the boat show this last weekend, and they only had like maybe a quarter of all of Bartle Hall used up. So I parked on the other side and walked in, and I had to walk across this big empty expanse. I don't know if you guys have ever been able to do that, walk across empty Bartle Hall. And it's a massive structure.
Yeah, I never have even really been in it.
I've been in it before they put the extension on it. I had my pickup truck up there one time inside.
Actually, you can drive in all the way if you wanted to, because Bartle Hall is essentially a bridge. And it's built so that you can actually drive your car in and unload the car on the inside of the building.
Yeah, that's
or
what
I
we
think
did.
you could drive an 18-wheeler.
I went to the Islamic Ramadan festival there.
Ramadad? Is that what they called it, or
Ramadan?
Ramadan?
That is Ramadan.
Oh, I don't know.
It's Ramadan.
Ramadan. Oh, there's a lot of
You police
people.
Ramadan.
All right. We always joke whenever we see the when we're driving on the highway, we see a Ramada. It's like, oh look, it's a Ramadan Inn, a Ramadan Inn.
Well, there was a lot of people there, very nicely dressed.
We are cruising again. We're gonna get the cops. There's this pickup truck. Keeps driving by us really slow.
It's still looking pretty trashy.
An advanced critique.
I like to just be like, guys, don't even hang this. It's a fail. Massive fail. I think if you want to go for massive fail, you can be more successful leaning it against the wall.
I don't think there's much hanging. It looks like it's more
I mean, I don't want to sound like an asshole in my life. I'm not sure what to do that.
So many artists, there's absolutely no reason to trash art.
The big empty building.
Garbage
That
art.
one is massive.
No, I guess that's the Argyle building. I think Adam Jones might be true.
Wow, really?
It's a lot to buy.
Yeah.
I knew it was one of these huge buildings. But I think it is the Argyle building.
I've always wanted to own that building.
We're now in the, what do they call it, the government mall or something, where they've decided that this whole sector of downtown will be nothing but government buildings.
Your shitty hall.
Shitty hall.
Did you know me and Bill Drummond did those Max signs? Just need everywhere.
The Max
These
signs?
Max Busty boots.
See the etching? The word Max?
You're right.
Oh, okay, cool. Wow.
You're right, government district.
Yeah, etched with plexiglass.
Here's another Pendergast building. And there's a Pendergast building. And that's a Pendergast building.
I was in jail right up there.
Oh, fun.
What did you do?
I bought a house in Northeast.
She bought a house, owned property in Kansas City. You're not supposed to do that. You're not the right kind of person. And here's, that's a government building of some sort. Commerce building.
It's J.E. Dunn building.
Oh, that's a J.E. Dunn building?
It's J.E. Dunn.
Oh, never mind.
We're paying
I
for
don't
that.
know what I'm talking about.
Government building.
We're paying for that too.
Well, it's paid by taxpayers.
Yeah, and they're not don't have the income they thought they should have. So it's
We'll compensate them.
yeah. Well, I
Can't
keep
let them fail. Too big to fail.
Too big.
I
to
keep
fail.
thinking J.E. Dunn doesn't need my money.
This is Commerce building.
No, they don't.
My
And the
mom
same-
works here.
What do they do then?
The Commerce building, FAA and transportation, and this is the federal courthouse.
So your mom's a government worker?
My mom and my dad were both government workers. Well, my mom is. She's getting close to retirement. My dad was. He did retire.
Here's a pubic library.
Not anymore.
They did something with us, right? Like, it's not a public library anymore. It's,
Ozark National Life.
yeah,
It's a really great building.
It says public library underneath.
Yep.
I was just sitting there forever since I've known it anyway. Is it open?
I don't
It's an
know.
insurance company.
Oh, it is?
They always do that. We're in the business of
They're zombie companies.
Just walls of that.
They do have a light on there. When I thought.
maintaining buildings at that scale.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of fun to think about, whatever, but then when you realize
Yeah.
maintenance.
That's
Well, I don't want to go across this bridge, so
like somebody said one time
I
when
don't
you
want to cartwheeling down this road either.
when you buy a house, you might just well buy a hardware store at the same time. It'll save you money in the long run.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Tell me about it.
I was at the hardware store twice today.
Sound like me in a plumbing job.
Yeah,
I did not write my mileage down today. Oopsies.
See, I can put in plumbing, but I can't think far enough ahead. So I get one piece in, and oh, I know what goes on next, so I go back to the store. So one good plumbing job can make me 10, 12 trips to the store.
I know. I'm exactly the same, except I'm kind of like, I buy too many pieces, and then I end up having to go back and return them.
Oh.
And then I end up having to go back and buy them again.
But then when you return them, you go buy out 10 more pieces.
I know, it's kind of...
The evil cycle.
We were pretty fortunate that we used Craigslist and we found somebody who had a whole home heating